What is going on, world? Welcome back once again. My name is ZacNovak and this is ZacNovak Plays Games. In today's video, we've got this week at Bungie, some major changes coming to the game, some teasers for the future and a bunch of other topics. Roll the intros, let's get right into the video and I do hope you enjoy. Alrighty, so starting things off, they state, this week at Bungie, we're preparing for the future. Recently, with the update to the development roadmap with some new actual milestones, which I do have to say some of them are pretty cool. September was plotted as a new waypoint with a hint of more stuff yet to come or be revealed. For the rest, the time has come to actually reveal some of them. Now the host in itself with the details are, well, Deej himself. He actually states, we'd like to invite you to catch a glimpse of what we've planned for the second year of Destiny 2. We have some big ideas for how we're going to transform your Guardian lifestyle and reinforce your hobby as an interplanetary hero. We'll tell you all about it and more some, and they'll do that when they're live. They state you'll hear from many members of the development team who will set some big goals for September in their own words. Bungie will actually explore deeper into the territory with the game director Steve Colton and project lead Scott Taylor, two faces that you might actually recognize from previous reveals. There's going to be some response to some community feedback and a bunch of stuff unveiled with some other things they haven't even told us that we're looking forward to, which is kind of, I don't know, maybe confusing. Anyway, Bungie states that they'll top it off with a new look at the roadmap for the future with the exciting new promises they have for everyone. And this is the picture that they had to tease it. Yeah, so if you guys actually subscribe to Bife, if you're not subscribed, my name is Bife, go subscribe to him because he's freaking awesome. He does a breakdown of what this actual future stuff could be for Destiny 2, but from what we can see here, it is pretty simple. We've got the reef in the background that says year 2 reveal. It's in more of Elixir writing, which I do have to say is pretty freaking cool. I'm kind of hyped for this. There is not much that they've teased or really even talked about this for the future of what is coming, but as they state, this will be the beginning of a conversation that will last all summer long. You won't want to miss it, and Bungie hopes to see your names in the chat as they give us the hot topics and spam all those cool emotes that, you know, we like to spam. Anyway, moving on. Vicarious Visions and Bungie actually had, well, a showdown, and it was actually pretty cool. In itself, they used private matches in Destiny 2 to actually kind of get involved with the Vicarious Visions and with people from Bungie to actually do battle. In itself, it was pretty freaking cool. Go check out the shiny new channel if you haven't actually checked it out. Link in the description down below or, you know, on the Bungie website. Moving on. Return of Rallies. Now this right here is pretty freaking cool. I'm kind of really hyped and excited about this, although kind of on the edge of my seat and certainly a little bit worried. But Bungie does actually state Destiny Update 1.2.1 brought improvements to the faction rally for Season 3. Back in March, the actual Seasons team discussed their overall goals for the event. Today, they actually revisited those goals and outlined the changes that Today, they revisited those goals and outlined the changes that have been made to achieve them. They are as followed. Pledging to a faction should be a meaningful choice, as it has been from day one for myself and many other people who kind of, you know, love Dead Orbit because it's the best. Simple as that. You are cool. Anyway, they actually state, players may now only pledge to one faction per account during the Faction Rallies event. That means that you cannot have all 3 of your characters to all 3 of the factions. You can have all 3 to one faction, and then the next season you can have all 3 for another faction, and then the next season you can have all 3 for the third faction, or next faction for the third season. Anyway, just keep that in mind. It's not really one of those things where they are stopping you from getting the actual, you know, loot that's available. You will be able to get all of them unless you want to actually, you know, pledge to one faction all 3 times or 2 factions one time and the other one twice. However you want to do it, keep in mind that you can actually get the loot from other factions in different rally events. Anyway. Reputation progress is now retained through multiple events and it will be reset during the season. and it will not be reset during the season, even if a player changes their allegiance, so keep that in mind. Each faction also offers unique rewards such as an exotic armor ornament or masterwork catalysts for exotic weapons. Bungie are planning to host 3 faction events over the course of Season 3. As I said, 3 rallies, 3 sets of loot, keep it in mind. Moving on. What are the actual, loot sets that you can get? Well, we have Dead Orbit will offer the Eye of Another World ornament and the Graviton Lance catalyst. New Monarchy will offer the Crest of Alpha Lupe ornament and the Sweet Business catalyst. And finally, Future Walker will offer the Knucklehead Radar ornament and the Sunshot catalyst. All 3 pretty good weapons. All 3 pretty good ornaments for the actual exotics. However, I just got to say, this is freaking cool. Just looking at this Warlock, it gets me hyped. So as you can see, we do have all 3 sets that Bungie has already kind of teased, which I was really hoping was going to be a surprise, but anyway, this is what we have. We've got Dead Orbit, looking amazingly schmick, I'd have to say. We have New Monarchy, which does actually look kind of cool, although it's really kind of just, the same stuff from before, red and gold, which I do have to say red and gold is pretty cool, especially in this kind of, aspect. But yeah, most people probably will either go with Dead Orbit. If you're going with Dead Orbit, let me know. If you're going with Future Warcult, let me know. If you're going with New Monarchy, in the comments section, let me know. And we also have Future Warcult, which does look pretty cool, although they're kind of doing away with the clown colors, which finally is a change. For the faction rallies though, they should provide a unique gameplay experience and not simply be a reward layer on top of the existing game. I've heard that a lot of times, Bungie, wondering if this is going to be actual, the difference. They do state, additionally, these events should build interest in lost sectors and armor ornament objectives. Faction rallies now features the Renown system, which after pledging to a faction, players may earn renown by completing public events or patrols or by defeating high-valued targets on destinations. Players who have looted a lost section with Renown active will receive significantly more faction bonuses and tokens than usual. The more stacks of Renown you have, the more actual faction tokens and experience you can get. Now, Renown is lost when players are defeated by enemies, so keep in mind, as long as you're alive, your Renown is going to keep climbing. And they've said a bunch about Renown, but what is Renown? Well, Renown increases the level of a challenge in gameplay. Health regeneration is vastly reduced and it stacks on each of the levels for Renown. Enemy kills have a chance to drop health orbs, which stacks on all levels, and player damage is decreased, scales with stacks up to 5. Also, incoming damage is increased to, your character, that is scales and does stack up to 5. So keep in mind, it does mean that it is a little bit of a challenge to loot lost sectors, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, when Renown is active on a player, other players around them can actually see which faction the player has pledged to with these auras, which I do have to say, Bungie, you're updating auras literally just for this so you can see which person's pledged to a faction. Why isn't there auras that actually, look like this for harder things like raids and stuff like that? We've got the simple, golden kind of stuff and the actual little minimal style of, auras. But these are real auras and they look freaking cool. I actually really want them. Mainly the Dead Orbit one. The Future Warcult kind of looks like it's a TV or a sign that's going a little bit dead with, its actual light bulbs. New Monarchy, not too bad. I actually have to say, that does look kind of cool because it looks like you got fire. Anyway, they do state Renown displays which faction a Guardian is pledged to, but only from a third-person view. This functionality applies to all players. Now, faction rallies will continue to feature a winner's choice of offering weapons that, the faction has earned the most rank packages during said given event will actually give out. However, these rewards will then be available the next actual event over because they'll be chucked in the reward pool that is available for said faction. Which is cool because it means you can get that weapon again at another point if you didn't actually get it the first time, or you can actually get it at another point when you've actually pledged to a different faction if you like the weapon that was available for another faction you didn't pledge to. Keep that in mind. During Season 1 and 2, New Monarchy dominated the charts and we are eager to see Dead Orbit, me too, or Future Warcult rank up and get some wins. Pledge to Dead Orbit. Do it. When will faction rallies be available? Well, Faction rallies will be available Tuesday, June 5th at 10 AM PDT time. Through the following weekly reset, Bungie will continue to collect feedback once Faction rallies is live and monitor with the conversations. Now, we're going on with lab work. Now yesterday, the Crucible Labs became available with its first featured game mode. Bungie has gotten quite a few questions on how the mode in itself works, where to leave feedback, and what to expect moving forward. PvP design lead Derek Carroll has some answers. His words are as follows. The game type we're testing in this Crucible Labs is Showdown, a 4v4 team mode that might feel a bit familiar to those of you who have played doubles. Now it might be doubles? Anyway, the rules are simple. Take out the enemy as many times as you can within their time limit to win each round. Best 3 out of 5. Now if the game is tied 2-2 after a 4th round, you will play a final showdown. That's pure elimination to crown the victor. Crucible Labs is a work in progress and we're learning as we go. We expect this lab to be available until next weekly reset on June 5th, but if something goes truly sideways, we might have to end the test early. We've deliberately started showing labs off early simply not just to test Showdown, but to test labs itself. This time around, we're going to ask you to sound off in the feedback forums on Bungie.net, though we'll be watching Reddit, Twitter, and all your usual haunts. In the future, we'd like to get more specific and scientific about the whole process, but for now, your gut reactions will be great. We are interested in any and all feedback you may have to offer, but the most obvious thing that we'd like to hear are as follows. What do you think about this mode? Was anything confusing? Did anything seem missing? Was there a map it played better or worse on? Were there spawning issues? Were the rounds too short or too long? Was there a weapon or sandbox combination that affected the game in a negative way? Probably Rat King, that'd be the only one I can think of. But moving on, sorry if I butchered the accent, I'm Aussie anyway. Tuning the protocol. Escalation protocol has been a hot topic since the release of Warmind. Bungie has been tracking feedback ranging from difficulty to fireteam size. Design lead Jacob Benton and design lead Ben Womack are actually making some changes to the experience. Now Jacob and Ben both state, the moment this weekly update goes live, the power levels for Escalation Protocol enemies will be lowered in waves 4 to 7. Waves 1 to 3 are unchanged and will still remain at a 370 power level, so still watch out for that level 2 wizard boss. Now they go over the old values. Wave 1, 2, 3 is 370, waves 4, 5 is 380, wave 6 is 400, and wave 7 is 400 respectively. Now the new actual values are waves 1 to 3 are 370, wave 4 to 5 are 380, and waves 6 to 7 are 385. One of the questions was, why are they actually making this change? Normally changing enemy power levels require a patch, but during development, Bungie actually created a unique server flag that can flip between 2 sets of power levels for all Escalation Protocol enemies. These were created in the wake of the Community Summit, when Bungie actually decided to make the activity even more difficult. The flags themselves don't require any download from you to flip, which is how Bungie was able to enact them this quickly as a change. The reason for the change is, well, Bungie has been looking at the internal data, which is listing all players and the feedback about Escalation Protocol since the launch of Warmind. Reading these stats, not as many players are attempting Escalation Protocol with a fire sim of 3 as the designs were actually intended, mostly because of how difficult waves 6 and 7 are. Tweaking the difficulty of waves 6 and 7 was easily done and very quickly done through the power level changes in something Bungie was able to do right away, which was because of the server flags mentioned before. By reducing the power level of the later waves, Bungie is intending to make Escalation Protocol more approachable for players who still want to try the activity at 385 as a fire team of 3 with potential help from others in the world. Getting 9 players into the same space will still be possible, but for those who are close to max level, it shouldn't feel as necessary as before. If anyone is worried that we're nerfing the activity into the ground, rest assured Bungie has stated that it is still the same high difficulty endgame experience that you all experienced before. All the mechanics, timers, and enemies' behavior will remain unchanged, so Bungie is still enacting that we will be able to still play the plan. So we'll still be able to play when So we'll still be able to play and plan to bring a big team, gear and maybe strategies to succeed. Moving on finally to the Destiny Operations Center. Now update 1.2.1 shipped fixes for various issues that impacted Destiny 2 gameplay. A few more have been discovered since the release. Now Destiny player support has the most up-to-date information on confirmed issues in the game and what's being worked on. This is their report and their words as followed. Since the release of Destiny Update 1.2.1, the following issues have been identified and confirmed. Nightfall unique rewards have been identified as an issue where Nightfall unique rewards from base game of Destiny 2 and Curse of Osiris strikes are not dropping for players. Teams are actively investigating the issue and will provide additional updates when possible. The Xbox One login. Players that were actually trying to log into Destiny 2 were having a few problems on Xbox. Bungie is investigating multiple reports regarding an issue impacting some players' ability to log into or launch Destiny 2 on Xbox One. Players who can provide video footage of this issue as they are investigating and encouraging should actually, hit up the hashtag help forum on bungie.net. Prototype engrams and powerful rewards. Bungie is investigating an issue where players who level up and earn a prototype engram when turning in a milestone for a powerful engram will not actually receive the powerful engram. In the meantime, players can work around this issue by making sure they are not near the level up threshold when turning in milestones. Keep that in mind because that is an issue I've experienced myself and it sucks. Finite impact and masterwork enemies defeated. Players may observe that the finite impact Iron Banner hand cannon does not correctly track enemies defeated in its tooltip. Including the Braytech RWP Mark II is having the same issue. The Victorious Veteran kill tracking is also experiencing the same issue. Mars adventures are unavailable to certain people and Bungie is actually investigating the issue where non-heroic adventures on Mars aren't actually available for some players. Another step on the roadmap has been executed, and Bungie have much more in store through the coming months. They want to make sure that we and ourselves don't miss a beat, so if you want to, subscribe for updates via emails on bungie.net. They themselves will then keep in touch and give us the actual chance to, send communication that are tailored to our specific play style. You'll also earn this emblem, which is pretty cool. So yeah, steps on email verification can be found on the bungie.net website, but it's not really that hard. All you have to do is go to settings, go to email, type your email in for the email updates, and you're golden. Anyway, this has pretty much been the entire this week at Bungie. This has been ZacNovak. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, click that like button down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. Do you like the face cam style? Do you want to just be where I've got more editing and stuff like that? Let me know. Until next time, this has been ZacNovak. Do all that good stuff and I'll be cheering like Karen if he was at cheering. But until next time, this is ZacNovak signing off. Peace out.